Whew, that was a crazy 12 hours. Hello, and welcome to the coronavirus update video number 45. Wow, this is definitely getting more intense and definitely taking me away from my full-time job here, but happy to do it because we're getting the right information out there. So everyone who's just joining in right now, thank you for tuning in. If you're a new time watcher, we actually had like 1,000 people messaging me saying that they've only just discovered these videos. So if you're new to these videos, remember at 4 p.m. every single day, I'll be doing a live video just like this, updating you on everything to do with the coronavirus here in Spain for everyone here who doesn't understand Spanish. And for all of you long-time hardcore listeners, thank you again for coming back, because I know that you guys are the ones who are sharing these videos out and making sure that this information gets into the right hands as well. Okay, so yes, that was a crazy 12 hours. We had, just on my Facebook, on this page, we had over 200 messages, private messages coming into this page over the last 12 hours. In fact, I actually checked it at 7 o'clock in the morning when I had to make a bottle for my little baby girl, and it jumped. So I'm counting from 7 o'clock this morning until now. There was over 200 private messages. Wow, you guys just really wanted the information. And not to mention over 50 on my private account as well. It was everything just blew up. Literally, everything just blew up. I posted a video yesterday after President Sanchez made his announcement. Now, I can't stress this enough. We do not have all of the details yet. President Sanchez hasn't put these details out. And in fact, when the news and media are covering this, they still haven't got all the factual information. This is, again, all speculation that they are taking away from the presentation that he put out yesterday, but nothing has been put into a decree yet. So again, all of this information, this is stated from President Sanchez, but not put into law. I can't stress that enough, because the amount of people messaging me yesterday saying, well, I thought this and I thought this. Again, we could have maybe a turnaround at the last minute. We don't know this information yet until we get the royal decrees. So I just wanted to get that there. And also dates. A lot of news magazines, websites, they are putting dates onto each phase. I must reiterate this. There are no official dates on when these lockdowns are going to be, or when these phases are going to be happening. A lot of people are speculating that it's going to be on this date, this date, this date, this date. They are only taking away that President Sanchez said that it will most likely be 2 weeks for each phase to happen. So if that's the case, then yeah, they have the dates. But again, these are estimates, because sometimes, and he did say this yesterday, if some regions are doing better than others, then they will be able to advance to different phases sooner than the other regions. So we could have, for example, a lot of the regions with very, very low infection rates coming into phase 1 or even phase 2 sooner than what we're predicting. Or it could actually be those regions staying with the normal routine, normal dates, but the other ones will actually be delayed even more. So I can't stress this enough. Dates are not official. So anyone who's putting up dates and saying this is no, it's not official. They're speculating on what it could be. And yeah, a lot of them will be very, very similar to those dates, if not bang on. But it's not stated yet. It's not been put out by the president at each date. And he even said, we're focusing on the phases and not an actual date. So I wanted to get that out to everyone at the start of the video so you understand the rest of this video as well. Okay. Where do we start? Wow, where do we start? 1,800 of you. Let's start by saying thank you. We had a lot of messages over the last 24 hours, especially when I posted the video this afternoon yesterday. We had a lot of messages this morning. I actually took most of the morning off, and I kind of left my phone a little bit, even though it was vibrating a lot. But I want to ask, how are you guys doing? How's this affecting you at the moment? Share out your information, you know, instead of just worrying about the details and the dates. How are you guys feeling? Actually, how are you feeling? Get it in the comments right now. Let's have a look at the news then. Okay, I'm going to give some highlights, but before that, we're going to go through the statistics over the last 24 hours. So, in Spain, There have been 212,917 people infected in total, and that is 2,144 over the last 24 hours. Yes, this is up from the previous day or the previous 2 or 3 days. So yeah, we're still going on the decline. I've never stated that it's always going to be on the decline. I've always said that it will be ups and downs, but it's still lower than 3,000. So we got a thumbs up here. Recovery rates. We have actually got a very high recovery rate today. This is 108,947 in total, and that is 6,399 in the last 24 hours, which is brilliant. Now, death rates. Today was actually a very, very confusing death rate. So in total, there are 24,275 deaths over the in total, and over the last 24 hours, with my calculations, it comes to 453. But they actually stated on the Royal Decree, the PDF, not the Royal Decree, the actual document that was released this morning from the government, and I always attach it to that post I always put, that only 325 have been accounted for in the last 24 hours. Now, why is this? Well, there are actually some regions out there where they are backlogging these deaths. So these will actually be coming into, of course, today, and they'll go into the overall number. And if you take away yesterday, or if you have today's date or today's numbers, take away yesterday's numbers, the number you get is 453. However, that is of course not on the last 24 hours. That's only for that's basically the number subtracted. But over the last 24 hours, there have only been 325. And the backlog of other regions of deaths as well. So that's the only reason why it has been larger than others. But we're still in the 300s, so we're all on the good track here. All right, let's jump into some quickie news. Quickie news I'm going to do at the start of these videos now, because it's basically the frequently asked questions, and I'm just going to jump into it and get this information out there. So, different regions could be on different phases. Yes, we talked about this earlier. The police will be stopping a lot of people traveling. Now, this was the main question I was getting yesterday. How are people going to be stopping going between different regions? Because there's going to be in one of the phases that you will be allowed to move in your region when we get to that phase. And some people have asked, well, what about people coming from inland down to the coast? Well, police presence has now been activated, and they are now, for example, Benidorm, there's been a huge police presence there on 5 of the entrances to Benidorm. So they are on top of it. They've already got a plan, and they're already putting this into motion. So that's basically what they'll be doing over the next couple of weeks. Schools. Schools are officially shut until September, but there are going to be some other things that will be coming out over the next couple of days, hopefully the next couple of weeks. Now, when schools are now going to be opening up in September, some people are now worrying about what are they going to be doing now if they have to go back to work. Can they leave their children with someone else? The answer is yes. You are you will be able to leave your children with a guardian, a nanny, or someone in the family. And some schools will be opening for 6-year-olds and less. And this will basically be a daycare kind of situation, a daycare for the 6 or less infants. And this will also be for special schools as disabled schools and things like this. So we're still waiting for details on this, but this is what the president has put forward, and this was actually put onto the news again today, so it's kind of confirming it, which is good. Some islands are going into the phase 1 earlier than others. So yes, you might be seeing a lot of people saying that some of the islands are going to be opening up their shops sooner. Yeah, this could be true. Again, we just have to wait for the actual announcements of the phases and exactly what is going to be going on with these phases. And also salons. Salons can open up from the 4th of May. So if you are a hairdresser and you work for a salon, or if you own a salon, you are allowed to open up from May the 4th, Star Wars Day. Only nerds will get that. Now, one thing they have stated here, that you have to have all the certain protocols in place to be able to open up. This means wearing masks and gloves. We're, again, still waiting for details of what people have to do for the clients, as in, do they have to wear gloves or things like this. So we're still waiting for that information, but as it stands, 4th of May, you are allowed to open up. But this is only going to be for appointments only. So people who have hairdressers, you've probably been taking appointments already. You can only go to one of these salons if you have an appointment. You will not be able to just rock up to any salon and request a haircut. You have to have an appointment, and this will actually be good for traveling as well. Right, also in the news, Saturday the 2nd, we are allowed out. Yes, we are waiting for details. Now, before you start celebrating, we have to get all the details, and that's going to be announced tomorrow. There's already been an official announcement that tomorrow, on Thursday, the 30th of April, they'll be doing the full announcement of what is going to be allowed and not allowed. As we've seen from a lot of the speculations and what President Sanchez said, it's most likely going to be you're allowed out for a walk, a run, or you can go for a paired walk with the members of the family or the household that you are currently in. Now, if that's the case, brilliant. I think that's something that we all need and we are dying to do. And actually, I will be doing this when we get closer to that date as well. But I will say, if you can record your reactions whilst going out, if you can record any funny things that you guys do whilst you're out, send it over to me and we'll make another video together, because that video now is starting to go viral and we've already had ITV come to me, and hopefully they're going to be putting it live on air on one of their shows tomorrow morning. Hint, hint. So we'll wait and see of confirmation there, but yeah, all good there. So if you do have some funny videos of yourself going out and celebrating in your own way, you can send it over to me. Now, some people, of course, are being angry and they're saying, well, too many people are going to be going out. It would be like the kids going out. Well, actually, some town halls are now closing the local parks. And these are the open green area parks where the kids were playing football. You must have seen the videos and stuff like this. And some town halls are actually closing off these areas. One, because of course they want to have the safety of the citizens at their at their mind. So we're just waiting to see which towns are going to be closing the parks and which ones are going to be opened. May the 2nd, I think, is just going to be a crazy day. I don't even know if I'm going to be able to get out myself for exactly what I want, because I know there's going to be so many rules that will be coming out, and a lot of people, but yeah, we'll get onto that on the May 2nd anyway. Also, flights. Some people are still expecting flights to be happening. Now, from what we know, the borders are not going to be opening until at least 15th of May. But that is only in the royal decree. Most likely, because this is not really an important kind of thing, most likely this royal decree of the borders being closed will probably go on to the end of phase 3. And we'll talk about that in a bit. But borders at the moment and flights coming back in, there is still no news on when flights were going to be resuming. So if you're planning to book a flight, please be very careful. Do not book flights that you don't have to book. If you're thinking for only a holiday, I would advise probably not to book these flights, just in case you are cancelled and you can't get the money back straight away. Also, moving house. It looks like in one of these phases, hopefully in phase 1, we are now going to be able to move houses. Now, this will be only for people who are in the same area and moving to a property in the same region that you are currently in. We're still waiting for details, but that is actually news that came out today, which is good. And last but not least, and I'm going to do a drum roll for this. From Monday, you're allowed 2 people in the car. Yay! I think that was the biggest comment that we kept getting for the last 3 weeks. It is every single day, without a doubt. I've normally got about 50 to 60 people. When can 2 people travel in a car? As it was announced by police today, they are stating that they are going to be allowing people, 2 people in a car from the same household from Monday the 4th. Yes! Alright, so that's actually the good thing there. That's great news. I know a lot of people have been asking about it. There have been a lot of debates in here as well. So yeah, 2 people in a car. I presume it's still going to be the current rules where you have to take 2 people in the car. It will be 1 in the front and 1 in the back rear passenger side. But we'll wait and see. This again is just an announcement that is going to be happening, but until it's in the royal decree, we do not have the factual information yet, okay? So I'm just letting you know what we're expecting. So fingers crossed we will get out. Okay. Now we're going to move on to the phases. Now, I'm only going to talk about the phase 0 and phase 1 today. Why? Because I can actually spend about an hour talking about these phases and all the research that I found. And again, because it's not in the royal decree, this is only speculation as what is going to be allowed and what is not going to be allowed. And this is taken from President Sanchez yesterday. Now, again, President Sanchez putting out this information is fantastic. It's really good to keep us up to date. But until it's in the royal decree and printed on paper, it's not completely official yet, so we have to wait and see what is going to be happening with the royal decree. But we'll talk about phase 0 with all the research that I've done over the last 12 hours or so, and we'll quickly give you a rundown on what's going to be happening, okay? So phase 0, as I said yesterday, we are currently in phase 0. And this is the preparation for the other phases that will be beginning on hopefully May the 4th, okay? So we're in the preparation at the moment. So phase 0, hopefully all properly going into place, will be from May the 4th. Now, we've already started, which is children allowed out, and children under the age of 14 allowed out for 1 time a day, 1 hour a day, 1 kilometer distance, and with 1 adult. So that's already started. Looks like May the 2nd, we'll be able to go out for walks together with the people in our household or individually. Again, it could possibly be not just walks, but exercise in general. Now, stating in the rules here, because it says individual exercise, we've been receiving a lot of official per se documents from federations of professional sport athletes, more specifically for hipotecas. Oh, God. My mind just goes horse riding. There we go. Equitación. Basically, the Horse Riding Federation is something that they have to be a part of to be able to ride professionally. And they've been stating that from May the 4th, they will be allowed to go in if you are paying this federation fee. And it will most likely be for the professional athletes as well who perform individual sports such as cyclists. If you are part of this federation, then most likely you will be able to go out and cycle. But if you are just a hobbyist and you're not paying into this federation, then most likely you will not be able to go out and do this type of exercise. However, you will be able to go out for individual sports or individual exercise. I will reiterate myself there. Walks together or individual exercise. Again, until tomorrow, we won't have the full details, so please wait until tomorrow. Hold off all your questions about sports and everything until tomorrow, because that's when we're getting all the details. So that's when we'll get all of it, fingers crossed. Next thing, premises and establishments who also take previous appointments, these will be allowed to open up from May the 4th. Now, these will be for individual customer services. So, for example, like salons, like I said, when they have an appointment kind of system, mechanics as well with an appointment system, these will also be able to open up. Now, these premises must have a counter and a screen for protection as well. All of this is not possible. There must be a maximum guaranteed of the individual protection. So this is where I stated about salons opening up. We don't have all the information yet of the protection that has to be put into place. So we're still waiting for that information, but you can open up. Restaurants, they may now open from May the 4th, and they can offer a service pickup, as in a food takeaway service. They must not eat on the premises. So customers can come, pick up their own food, but this must not be consumed on the premises, okay? So a lot of people are getting confused about the terrace area on phase 1 and this phase. So if you're currently, or if you do have if you do have a restaurant, you are able to open up for this takeaway service. And I think if the citizens around you and you've got local restaurants around you, if you could support these establishments, it would definitely help them to keep afloat in these tough times. Right, moving on. Right, to the care of garden plots, self-owned or in areas such as fields or campos in the same region as you. As long as they're in the same region as your home, then you are okay to go and attend these measures. So people who live in the countryside or people with allotments in the same region as you will be allowed to go and tend to these. So if they're olive groves or fruit trees, you are allowed to go to these. And public places. Most public places now will be on the they'll be on the urge now, on the edge now to start decontaminating a lot of the public areas. So for example, town halls, notary offices, padron offices, all of these areas are now starting to opening up properly, but they are in the phase of disinfecting everywhere. Now, most likely on phase 1, we will see the openness of all of these places, okay? And that's where we're going to go on to phase 1. So, like I said, phase 0, it starts from Monday, Monday the 4th, and this will most likely go on until May the 9th, hopefully the 10th. Other people have been speculating that it's May the 11th. Again, because there hasn't been an official date, it will be announced by the government official, President Sanchez, when each region and when each place will be able to reach each phase. So until we get that information, we don't know exactly. But phase 1, initially, okay, we'll start with this. This initial stage of the de-escalation where activity will partially begin to restart between each regional space. If all goes well with this, it should start on May the 11th, as I said. Now, we've been getting lots of speculation about when we will be able to go out to be able to visit friends and family. Now, reading yesterday, I actually thought it was going to be in phase 3. It looks like it's going to be on phase 1. Now, in the personal sphere, social contact will be allowed for small groups among people who are not vulnerable or had the previous illness. So in other words, if you wanted to go and see a family member, it looks like we'll be able to do this in phase 1, which could be from May the 11th, could be. If this is the case, then brilliant. My family will be able to come and see my baby girl. The grandparents will come and see. I don't think we should be taking advantage of this and inviting hundreds of people over every single day. I think we should still try and restrict this as much as possible and be sensible about this. All right, the next thing. The general opening of commercial premises and establishments that do not resemble a shopping centre, they will be able to open with the capacity of at least, with a maximum of 30%. Now, what does this mean? Well, basically, most of the shops, furniture shops, clothes shops, lighting shops, these will now be able to open up with the capacity of only 30% allowed in at a time. And as long as they're not in a shopping centre, so a commercial centre or a shopping centre, these will not be able to open up at all. A minimum distance between the clients should be maintained. So this will actually be up to us, the citizens, to try and maintain a distance of 2 meters between other clients as well. And when this is not possible, only one client will be allowed in at a time. So if you do have a small premises and you can only have, say, one person in at a time, then this is what it's going to have to be. I know a lot of tobacco shops throughout Spain, they're very, very small. They only have one counter and they attend to one person at a time. Most likely it will be everyone will have to wait outside until you're allowed in one at a time. And the next bit, which I think everyone is looking forward to, bars and cafes will be able to open up with terraces, and they will be occupying the terraces only, but at a 30% capacity. Hallelujah! I think a lot of people on here, they can't wait for their local coffee and cake. I know we always used to go to either Erema or Garochal and we would have a coffee and a cake. My parents would go out and I think they're going to be looking forward to that especially. So yeah, only terraces or areas where they have a terrace area or an open area, these will be opening up hopefully with 30% capacity there. Next, hotel and tourist accommodation can also open up, but all the common areas must be closed and at a certain capacity. We're still waiting to receive details about this because I had read that there's different sectors of this that is going to be coming out. Again, we don't know until the royal decree comes out, but the actual tourist sector, the tourist accommodation sector, it's basically stating that there's going to be different sections. For example, one will be for hotels, another one will be apartment blocks, another one will be personal Airbnbs, another one will be private holiday homes, etc. So this will probably come out in sections, and until we get the full figures, I'm not going to release anything else, okay? But basically, it will be the lack of communal areas, such as a communal swimming pool or communal gym as well. Right. Outdoor markets, that's another thing. When each town hall agrees on this, the outdoor markets can also restart on public roads. But of course, with safety measures between each of the stalls, and most likely only about 25% to 30% of these stalls will be allowed here to put up shop. So what can we say about that? Well, street markets are very, very common here in Spain. Most likely you will have one in your local area, which happens on a weekly basis. Now, what they're probably going to be doing is organising that they will make sure they'll have one fruit and veg, one fishmonger, or one nuts and olive vendor, one clothes vendor. That's probably most likely going to happen, but we just got to wait and see exactly what the protocols are going to be. Places of worship can open, but with the capacity of 30% as well. And also, wakes and funerals will be allowed for a limited number of family members with physical distancing and security protocols in place as well. So churches, most likely they'll be opening up on the Sundays. And they'll, of course, have a limit of the amount of people that will be allowed to go in. This will probably be up to the church who can come in or not. Maybe they put on a wait list or something like this. We'll just have to see. Let's see. Libraries hopefully will be opening up again. So for all the students at university doing their bachilleratos, their exams, hopefully libraries will start opening up, but again with capacity of 30%. Cultural acts, shows, so for example live performances in open spaces, this will most likely start taking place. Also, excuse me, oh god, that's the lunch coming up there. Also, most likely weddings and celebrations such as baptisms as well. This will hopefully mostly start up again in phase 1, but of course with a limited number of attendees and keeping safety measures as well. And the opening of museums, only for visits but not really activities. These will be capped again at 30% of entrance allowed. Now this will be museums to start up the tourism industry again. I know there's one down in Cartagena, there's a lot in Murcia as well. But to start the tourism sector again, they will most likely start this up in phase 1 with a 30% capacity as well. And opening of outdoor sport facilities to practice non-contact sports, so such as tennis, athletics. This will be opening up as well. So we're yet to see what's going to be happening with the professional leagues such as football, rugby. I don't think these are going to be opening up anytime in the phase 1 or phase 2. But I have heard, like I said towards the start of this video, that there has been the federations, the sports federations, sending out details that professionals paying into the system, they will be allowed to pay to start practicing and hopefully doing this in phase 1 or phase 2. But until we get the actual information, we do not know. Right, guys, that is going to be it for today. What I'm also going to be doing after this video, hopefully today, I'm going to be making short videos of phase 0, phase 1, phase 2, and phase 3, and giving all the information that we have now, and I'll be putting them on the page. Why? Because at the moment, I'm still getting bombarded with over 200 questions in the last 12 hours. I've just had to copy and paste a generic answer out to everyone because we don't have all the details yet. So I'm going to put those videos out there. Come back again, I would say maybe 8 o'clock tonight. I should have all of these videos up. And it's just going to explain each of the phases. Phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, phase 4. A lot of people are already asking about golf. Again, we don't have the details. Don't ask about individual sports because we don't know the details yet until tomorrow. So if you're asking about Saturday, May the 2nd, don't ask the question. Wait until tomorrow because that's when we're going to have all the details. So for the moment, I will see you tomorrow at 4 p.m. just like every single day. I'm going to quickly do a rundown on this and record all of the phases and get these onto the Facebook page as well. Remember to like, comment, subscribe because you guys are keeping these videos going as much as possible. I'm also going to be sharing out some more information I've been sent over the last couple of days about, well, the phases and everything. And I'm going to try and make it all pretty for you and send it out as well. And also YouTube, I'll get this video straight onto YouTube after this. If you're not subscribed to the YouTube channel, click on the link in the description somewhere down there or up there or anywhere. Click on that link, subscribe to the YouTube channel because that's where I'm going to be putting a lot of these videos as well. Anyway, guys, that is it for today. We've been half an hour, me talking non-stop. I will see you tomorrow. Bye.